Welcome to the 80s the podcast that uses your votes to determine the most totally 80s song ever to blare from the muddy speakers of a Boardman, Ohio Pizza Hut jukebox. In Cleveland, I'm Keith Barsteller, and joining me from Seattle, he's my main man. It's the creator of the 80s we're talking about, my longtime friend, and my excellent co-host, it's Joe Walk. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Keith. Listen, I had a realization as I prepped for today's show.
Well, what did you realize?
So it occurred to me that you really are the goose to my maverick.
Oh. Well, it always seemed to me like you were goose and I was maverick.
Okay, well, maybe I'm Iceman and you're Slider?
No.
Maybe I'm Jester and you're Viper?
I don't think so, man.
Okay, so, what if we're two guys from some other Tom Cruise movie?
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe we're two bar patrons from Cocktail.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we're two mask-wearing freaks from Eyes Wide Shut. I guess that's not an 80s movie.
I don't picture either of us at that party. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, well, we probably shouldn't talk about the game where you turn movie titles into porn titles. Since I brought it up, I had a good one with that one that was Thighs Wide Slut. Although I think my best one I ever came up with was Chinatown. That's probably my best one ever.
That's pretty solid.
Well,
man.
we're off script now, so there you go.
Yeah.
Far, far off script. Welcome back to the 80s, everybody.
Welcome back.
Oh, today in the
Chinatown, really.
I apologize for that. Yeah, Chinatown is
okay.
It's not bad. Today in our 8th show, we will discuss our 6th matchup in the movies region. And of course, we're talking about the 8th show of Side B here.
Of course. Got to clarify that.
Because, yeah, we're something like our 67th show at this point, if you added them all up. This is Take My Breath Away against Danger Zone. It's the Top Gun matchup, Joe.
Oh.
Woo-hoo! And so, I guess we'll start this thing the way we start them all, with the tail of the tape. Fight!
2 songs enter. 1 song leaves.
It's the tail of the tape. He's out! All right. Joe, let's start it up. In this corner, we have...
Number 3, Take My Breath Away by Berlin. It is from the soundtrack to Top Gun, and the song was released in June 1986. It reached number 1. Of course it did, on the Billboard Hot 100. It was a top 5 song in 16 countries. It won the Oscar and the Golden Globe for Best Original Song in 1986.
Wow. That's quite a resume. Who could compete against that? Well, I'll tell you who. In this corner, we have 14C Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, also from the soundtrack to Top Gun. And the song was released slightly earlier, April 24th of 1986, the first single from it. Mm-hmm. And it reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it did not win an Oscar nor a Golden Globe. Suck it, Loggins!
I think it did place very strongly in the Kids' Choice Awards.
Oh, there you go. It's possible. Yeah. Now, the Top Gun soundtrack, however, as a whole, was the number 1 album in America for 5 weeks in that summer of 86.
It was hot, hot, hot.
And according to music website AllMusic, the album, quote, remains a quintessential artifact of the mid-'80s, end quote. And the album's hits, and I picked this quote out for you. Quote,
Okay.
still define the bombastic, melodramatic sound that dominated the pop charts of the era. End quote.
Well, all right. So here's how I have to say. I do know that my sister loved this movie.
Oh, sweet. Do you know if she had the soundtrack?
Could not say, but
That's all right. She'll
she
tell
dug
us.
the film.
She'll tell us, yeah.
Oh yeah, she'll tell us.
All right, well, let's get right to playing the songs, and we'll start with the favorite 3-seed, Take My Breath Away, and that iconic opening. I mean, you can already hear it, can't you?
Yeah.
Watching every motion in my foolish lover's game. On this endless ocean, finally lovers know no shame. Turning and returning to some secret place inside. Watching in slow motion as you turn around and say, take my breath away. Take my breath away.
All right, and that's the next verse, so we'll cut that off right there.
All
But
righty.
that's the beginning of Take My Breath Away, and arguably just as iconic of a song from this era is number 14 seed, our challenger, Danger Zone.
Rather than be listen to her howling roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone.
I don't know, is that enough of Danger Zone?
Yeah, I think we get the idea.
Yeah, all right. All right, so there's the little Danger Zone for you. And so those are the two songs. And now the next question you're asking yourself is, who's responsible for these songs? Joe, did you think the assignment was 1880s?
Keith, I have to seriously question your level of taste here.
All right, well, who is going to be responsible for today's two songs? Let's find out in this segment. Go ahead.
Here's the deal. Take My Breath Away has 80 points. It was ranked 15th for me, unranked by you.
Yeah.
And so I am responsible.
100% responsible.
Yeah,
It gets a 65 from me. Well, Danger Zone, though, however, got 97 points.
Okay.
And 32 of those points were from you. And guess what? Also unranked by me, 65 from me. Joe, you're responsible for this entire matchup.
I am.
You know,
How can that be?
How could that be? You know, for those who listen to all the episodes, I forgot to mention in the last thing, I didn't rank Billy Ocean because I wasn't doing any duplicates. And I'm mentioning that here because I didn't
Okay.
rank Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone because I wasn't doing any duplicates. So that's the
And of
similar-
course, Berlin was all over the side A. So.
Now, yes, I am. She just didn't make my top, however many to get 64, I guess. But she
Yeah.
was on my list, which extended down to 100.
Okay.
But You are entirely responsible for both of these songs.
I'll take it.
And I'm not mad at you for either of these songs, to be honest, But let's find out if you like the songs. And start off with Take My Breath Away. Joe?
I like this song. I mean, it's cheesy as fuck. It's over the top melodramatic, but god damn it, I like this song.
I want to pretend otherwise, but yeah, I kind of like the song too. Because it has some memories attached to it. We'll get to that, I guess. But that, yes, I'll say I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Danger Zone?
Danger Zone's more complicated. It does kind of rock, but I've heard it so many, many, many times. I've heard it way more than I've heard Take My Breath Away for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of it, but I've had a long break from it. It's okay, I guess. Like listening to it, I was kind of rocking out to the drums a little
see
bit.
That.
Yeah. What about you? Where do you come down on Danger Zone?
I mean, not really.
Yeah, that's fair.
There are other Kenny Loggins songs. If I'm gonna have to listen to Kenny Loggins,
Sure,
there are other songs I'd rather.
You'd rather listen to Return to Pooh Corner, for instance.
I have no idea what that is, but sure.
I'll have to bust it out when we get to talking about him.
Oh dear God.
So, yeah, he's got some song, a Winnie the Pooh song. I'll have to find it.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we're up against here. We got two songs that Joe brought in because his mind is more on movie soundtracks than mine is.
It was.
And I also was, even though our listeners said we could have duplicates, I decided I wasn't going to nominate duplicates. But some got in, and that's totally cool. So let's start with Take My Breath.
You don't sound like you think it's really cool.
You
sound
all
like
right.
you're a little resentful of it.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm trying to get everyone multiple chances. There's so many good bands and artists to get in here. It's tough to lose even a single spot.
Yeah. To someone like the Jets, let's say.
To like Iko, for instance. All right. So Berlin was a new wave band.
Right.
Now, folks who were more new wavers, we have several listeners who are big into new wave back before we were.
Yes.
Probably know of a bunch of Berlin songs, but I only knew of one Berlin song prior to Take My Breath Away. And that was No More Words. I don't know if you know this one.
This does not sound familiar to me.
So there you go.
Maybe.
This little synth riff. So they were kind of a synth poppy, new wavy band. I knew No More Words. Now they have another hit though I've read about.
Okay.
And Joe, I think we might have another sex dwarf on our hands here.
Oh dear God.
This one's called Sex, parentheses. This has both parentheses and ellipses in it.
Wow, double dose.
It's Sex, parentheses, I'm a, ellipses, end parentheses.
I'm an ellipses.
I'm a,
yes. ...
And I'm just going to play a little of this because it's sex. And it was banned in a lot of places because it allegedly had graphic lyrics.
Huh.
Like Feel the Fire, My Love Inside You Right Now. But here's the chorus.
Oh! I did not know this was them. This song I know.
I'm a, and you know this song. Okay.
I know this song, yes.
Sex.
I did not realize that this was them.
Yeah. And it just keeps going like.
Now,
So-
this song received some Weird Al treatment.
This song did?
This song did. It was not on its own, but it was part of one of his polka
Oh, really?
melodies. Jesus.
Medley?
Oh my God. Medleys. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was part of one of his polka medleys.
Oh, I'll have to
yes.
check that out. I probably didn't recognize it because I'd never heard this song until today.
Okay.
So there you go. You knew that one. I knew No More Words.
Okay.
I'm sure the rest of the gang could name a bunch more Berlin songs, but obviously their biggest exposure to the general public was Take My Breath.
Or the genital public. Sorry.
Yeah, sax.
Sex.
Yeah. So the song Take My Breath Away.
Yeah. Their biggest hit by far is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't write it. That's why it doesn't kind of sound like that other stuff that we've heard. Interestingly, and I'm going to give this a straight up toid. Take My Breath Away and Danger Zone have the same author.
Waha?
There's this Italian guy, Giorgio Moroder. That's not really Italian sounding, but Moroder.
I mean, Polish.
Giorgio is Italian sounding, I guess. Anyway, he's an Italian musician, and he wrote both of these songs, and then he sent the backing music to his auto mechanic, who had just fixed the brakes of his Ferrari, Tom Whitlock. When he was fixing this Giorgio's brakes, he was like, hey, I'm a bit of a lyricist. And Giorgio was like, yeah, well, I'm a musician, but I'm not so great with the words. So he literally sent these songs by mail to his mechanic, who listened to them and wrote words to them.
I mean,
Both of these
that's
songs.
a lot of trust in your mechanic.
Yes. And it's crazy. Both were written by these same two people.
Okay.
Just kind of a weird toy. Like, I wouldn't have thought that.
The lyrics to Take My Breath Away do not sound as if they were written by a mechanic.
That's right.
There's very little mention of brake pads.
That's right. There's nothing talking about, like, oil changes in here.
No.
Change my oil today.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing like
timing
that.
belt, nothing.
Now, Moroder, I might be saying this wrong, but Moroder, however you
I
say
think it's
his name.
Mordor.
Mordor
Yeah.
is most proud of this song, of all the songs he has ever written, though, according to him. So, if that...
Well, I mean, it won an Oscar, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about the song, like in terms of its production, or what do you want to say about it?
Well, I mean, you said at the top, this is iconic. Those opening notes are pretty unlike anything else that we might play. You play those, everyone knows exactly which song it is.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a hugely melodramatic song.
Massively, yeah.
And you can see, you can see a teenage girl putting it on a mixtape that she's sending to someone.
Oh,
right?
good point. Good
mean,
point. Yeah.
I never got one of those because no one ever wanted me to take their breath away.
You took their breath away in a different way. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna have to breathe in before I vomit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, let me hold my breath to try to hold in the vomit. There's a weird thing going on with this song that I read about.
Yeah.
Because it is so iconic, and like the scenes that it's in are, you can remember them based on this song. It turns out Tony Scott, who directed Top Gun, Giorgio sent the songs to him, both of them, and he was like, hey, I really dig this Take My Breath Away thing. I'm going to go and write 2 new romantic scenes so that we can feature the song. The scenes didn't exist, and the song precipitated the making of the scenes, which is not how movie making usually works.
So there was no scene originally in which Tom Cruise shows up to Kelly McGillis's house and then demands to use her shower before she feeds
showers,
him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
hey, I
such
gotta
weird
use your
behavior.
shower.
Yeah,
It's our
from
first
someone-
date.
From someone you've never really been with in any real way.
Nice place you got. Let me use your shower.
I'm gonna go shower. Yeah.
I'm sorry, if someone shows up for a date and the first thing they want to do is use your shower.
That's a red flag.
It's a red flag.
Yeah. Or gentlemen, anyone that this happens to.
Yeah.
If they
I'm
didn't
a
have-
little stanky.
Yes. So, but seriously, like, I find that really weird to do it that way. Like, I like this song. Let's write some scenes for it. But it speaks to the power of the drama that this song can invoke.
Indeed.
That Tony Scott was so blown away by it. He's like, I got to write a couple love scenes.
And
so-
I gotta say, those scenes feature very prominently in the video for this.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know, maybe like 50-50 shots of Terry Nunn from Berlin
Yes.
versus clips from the movie.
Yeah, Terry Nunn kind of like wandering around an airplane graveyard in some dirty overalls.
Yeah, and quick question. What the fuck is going on with her hair? Did she like staple a skunk to her head?
She was kind of going for her own. It's not a flock of seagulls, but she
Yeah.
was creating an iconic multi-tone look, I guess.
Did a lot of people
Follow
copy
suit.
that?
Only the most avant-garde. Nobody at Berlin Center was doing that at our high school that I recall. I mean, anyone, plenty of listeners from our high school here. If you remember somebody that did this hairstyle, this Terry
Google
Nunn
Terry
hairstyle,
Nunn's hair and then let us know.
and let us know if somebody did this. I mean,
Yeah.
I can think of a couple. Maybe our friend Carrie might have done something similar. At some point.
Carrie had her own iconic kind of look.
But yeah, it's certainly like our pal Scott Chittock was not wearing this hairstyle, right? Like,
Definitely
he was
not.
No. So anyway, the bass line of this song I found out is entirely synthesizer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and there's a lot of synth in this song, but
Yeah.
I thought maybe there'd be some practical instruments in there too. But it's pretty well synth. I think. I don't know, do you have... And I already mentioned that this was the second single from the soundtrack with... The lead single from the soundtrack was Danger Zone, which we're going to talk about next.
Right.
I had one other note, but did you have anything else you wanted to
No,
say?
let's hear your note.
My other note is kind of a needle drop, and it's this thing I noticed even back then, and I've searched on it, and I guess it's relatively famous for this, and it's this key change that it does.
Yes. I know the key change.
You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
It happens around 2:48. So I'm going to give you like a 5-second lead up. So it was just something I kind of noticed was this key change. And then when I went to search on it, it's on all these lists of like most iconic key changes in music history. And I was like, people keep lists of that?
People keep lists of anything, man.
Turns out they do.
Weirdest shaped toenails, my top 20.
But anyway, so, it kind of has this, it just kind of changes up there and changes the tone of the song for the end.
It
which
keeps
makes
things interesting. I like it.
It makes it, adds to the melodrama, I think, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's a case.
Okay.
Some things about Take My Breath Away. And now we're going to jump in to a little thing called Danger Zone by Kenneth Loggins. Kenneth Aloysius Loggins. I'm making up that middle name. He's obviously, you might recognize him from side A as the artist of the iconic Footloose. And I'll just jump in. So, you all know Kenny Loggins, right?
I gotta cut loose. Footloose.
Tons of 80s soundtrack cred, right?
Yeah. Loads of it.
I mean, he had the Caddyshack song. He
Yep.
had the Meet Me Halfway from Over the Top. He had Footloose.
Over the Top.
He had Return to Pooh Corner. As it turns out, this is a real Kenny Loggins song.
Oh, yeah. You can tell.
I'm going to jump ahead.
Okay.
In your bed, Mom said, baby's riding off to dream.
Wow. Why didn't we nominate this one instead? That's so 80s.
But he did have also the iconic, and I'm using that with a capital I, song from the shirtless volleyball scene in Top Gun, Playing with the Boys. So he had 2 songs on this soundtrack, Anyway, you remember Playing with the Boys, I assume.
Oh, indeed.
Let's see if I can nail that chorus. Anyway, there you go. A little Playing with the Boys, also from Top Gun soundtrack. So you've got an iconic 80s soundtrack artist.
Yes.
Clearly, that guy's your first choice to sing this song if you're Giorgio, whatever his name is, right? He's your
I would
first
think
choice.
so. I would, if I was him, I would say, we needed this a Kenny Loggins, eh? What is it a Kenny?
Right. And
Yeah.
and that's what I thought until I read this list. This song was originally offered to. Do you want to go down this list with me? Do you see this? Yeah.
So hang on a second. I am almost there.
Originally offered
Wow.
to Toto, and then
Bryan Adams.
he said no. REO Speedwagon was
Ooh,
like,
that hurts.
no thanks.
And then Corey Hart.
And I'm like, God, I wish we had recorded versions of all 4 of those. Before someone finally said, you know what? Let's just give it to Loggins. Let's just give in
Yep.
and have Loggins do it. It's what he
needs
does
work.
best. Yeah. So those 4, and Toto turned it down because they did not want to promote war,
Oh.
which they thought,
Damn. Points for Toto.
yeah, Toto didn't just say, no, that song blows.
No.
They were like, I don't want to be involved in a movie
Yeah.
about
Your
war.
movie is jingoistic shit.
I'll admit to liking the movie, even though I probably shouldn't. But I mean, you're not wrong
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. So have you seen the video for
Oh,
Danger
I
Zone?
have seen the video, and I will say that
Help us
the
discuss the
sunglasses on Kenny Loggins are super 80s in and of themselves.
Yeah. Is he sing? So Loggins lip syncs to his own song,
Yeah.
intercut with tons of movie footage, right?
Loads. I mean, this and Take My Breath Away were basically, largely movie clips.
Yeah. Now, but Loggins is not just singing on a soundstage.
No.
It looks like he might be in one of the apartments. Like, what's her name? I can't remember her character's name now. Charlie?
Kelly McGillis, yeah.
Is it in Kelly McGillis?
Playing
Charlie's
Charlie,
apartment?
I don't know. I thought it was a hotel, but
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
I thought he might have been doing it on the actual set in her apartment bedroom.
I skipped around a little bit. Is there a shot of him singing in the shower?
No, but
You
there is
show up and say, "Hey, I'm going to record this song for your movie. Can I use your shower?"
I also found out Tony Scott directed the video. I guess it's
Oh.
not super surprising because it's got Top Gun clips mostly. And
Yeah.
you could have shot the rest of it in a half hour.
Right. I mean, it's not a super complex video. The portions featuring
Right.
Mr. Loggins.
Similar, because it has the same author as Take My Breath Away, which that still blows me away that these are the same. It also
They're very different songs.
has the entire bass line played on a Yamaha DX7 synthesizer.
Okay.
Because that's what that guy did before he shipped it off to his mechanic for lyrics.
Let me ask you a question, Keith.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you someplace have a list of all of the passwords you use for various websites?
Yeah, sure.
So, all right. So I'm wondering if Kenny Loggins does, and if it's called Kenny's Logins.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I'm sorry. I just came up with that pun right now.
That's so great.
And I had to inflict it on you.
Thank you for that. I wish I had like a rim shot to play for you, but instead I'll give you...
Excellent!
I'll take it.
All right, you know what you probably more deserved was... The Lady in Red wine, which I have isolated for us.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. All right, so we're slowly like a lint trap collecting these sounds.
That's a good analogy, man.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a ton of synth in here. There's lots of 80s guitar going on in here.
The guitar is very 80s to me.
And then at the very end, I've got a needle drop for us.
Okay.
In around the 3-minute mark. Let me just carefully place this needle. It's a tenor sax, and it's a real one. Jumps in at the end. And then it goes nuts. Yeah. All the way into the fade out. That thing is going. You can still hear it. So at least it had that. It had some sax. It's got synth. It's got 80s guitar.
It does. And it's got 80s soundtrack icon
Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
So those are some things to say about that song. I don't know if you have
I will
anything else.
also say, I mean, it's nothing to do with its 80s-ness, but I do give points to this song for being one of my favorite running gags on Archer.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about this is, like, these two songs, one of them is the pinnacle of this hyper masculine, macho, plain jock. It's the epitome of that type of melodrama.
Yeah.
And the other one is the epitome of the romantic side of the movie melodrama. And so it's really kind of like dealer's choice about which melodrama you think is more 80s.
Right.
That really performative masculinity, for lack of a better term, type, or that super overwrought, like battling like cats and dogs until they make out type of romance. I can't stand you, and you're a dangerous pilot. Oh yeah, you call me dangerous, but I didn't finish. Your flight shows creativity, and then they just start making out.
Yeah.
And it's so great. So great. I mean, I've seen this movie a bunch. Have you seen it once or twice?
I've seen it some. Maybe 10 years ago I rewatched it, and I remember posting something on Facebook about how this is, if I had to explain the 80s to someone in one movie, I would probably show them Top Gun.
Show them Top Gun. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this jingoistic,
Yeah.
kind of sexist kind of braggadocio kind of. That's America in the
Yeah.
80s.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
This would definitely be in our 80s-est movies season.
It absolutely will.
It might even be a 1 seed if
I
it
mean-
if it can get ahead of Rad
In its region, I can
Yeah.
definitely see this being a 1 seed.
in the
Yeah.
action region, right?
Yes. Yes.
With 2 seed Rad though, definitely Rad would have to be in the action region.
This is worrisome. I'm going to have to watch Rad at some point.
Oh my God, you and Denny is interested because he's a huge fan of Send Me an Angel. So
Right. I thought you were going to say for a second he's a huge fan of Lori Loughlin.
I would doubt that, but I mean, who knows?
Look, I admire the way she paid for her daughter to go to school.
That's one way to do it. At least
Yeah.
she didn't get it for free because she was a celebrity.
Yeah.
But anyway, I read also that Kenny Loggins contacted Tom Cruise recently during the making of Top Gun Maverick
Okay.
to say like, hey, Tom, like Kenny here, I am ready to re-record this song at your request. And he was like, hard pass. I'm going to use the exact recorded version that we have from the first movie because I want to evoke the same feelings.
Yeah.
And the part that he left unsaid, like nobody wants to hear your 75-year-old ass playing at halftime and not hitting the notes.
To the danger
To
zone.
the danger zone. Props to that auto mechanic for coming up with the phrase unbeknownst to any actual military personnel. Never say hello to you until you hit it on a red light overload.
That's
It's
pretty good.
It's reminiscent of our 48-hour film, The Meat Locker, in which we make up a name for an improvised explosive device that we call Red X-37 in the kitchen.
That's right.
Yeah, it's that made up. Like anyone who knows anything about explosives would be like, that's bullshit.
Yes.
Just like anyone who's
But it's
ever
part of
worked
its
on
charm.
Anyone who's ever worked on an aircraft carrier would be like, I don't know what the fuck a red light overload is, but
No. No.
but we
sounds
just
good.
gobble it
Sounds
right
good.
up. We gobble it up.
Speaking of lyrics, real quickly.
Yeah, hit me.
So my understanding was always it's the main part is, highway to the danger zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many people sing I went to the danger zone.
Oh, probably because they're like, why would it be highway? They're in planes,
Yeah,
you know? But it's like a highway, figurative highway. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a literal highway.
Or it's Tom Cruise riding his motorcycle over to Charlie's house, and maybe she's the danger zone.
Maybe she is. I mean, he did fall for her, and he doesn't do that. Not this hard, not ever. According to Meg
Maybe
Ryan's
she's
character.
the red light overload.
Yes. Oh, and poor Goose. Well, I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Poor Goose, who orders a bad plate of nachos and spends the last third of the movie
In the bathroom.
in the can.
He comes out fine, though. Don't
With
worry about Goose.
explosive stuff happening. Anyway.
I'm looking.
Yep.
All right, so that's Danger Zone. Anything else to put a bow on that one?
No, I'm amazed that we came through this entire episode without doing some kind of hackneyed Need for Speed cliche.
Oh, yeah.
Cliche.
I wish we had thought of that.
We
Dang.
didn't do it.
Oh, well, we got through it. We
All
got
right,
through
so
it.
it's time.
And I also haven't yelled, you're dangerous. Or you're still dangerous, but you can be my podcast host anytime. All right, anyway, it is time to render verdicts, is it
Okay.
not? Well, and this guy's got an odd-numbered favorite. The
So
three
that's you,
seed
man.
that
That's
take
you.
my breath away. Well, this one's kind of a close one for me. And I did not come into it with a winner in mind. So
Okay.
I'm surveying, and I could say either one right now, but I think I'm going with Berlin, Take My Breath Away. Just There's something a little bit extra about it. The other one's, again, it's pretty 80s Danger Zone, but it's a rock song. Yeah. And I like me my synth and my little new wavy sound here.
Of course you do.
And it is a slightly bigger impact with that Oscar. And anyway, I'm going with Berlin. What about you, Joe? Where are you coming out?
Oh, I'm going for Take My Breath Away, and it's not really even close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean the opening boom, boom, that's it.
Yeah. Listen to all that synth. But anyway, yep. All right, so there you go. Will Kenny Loggins take a second loss after being invited to 2 separate brackets? I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will. And
that
we'll
depends
find out
on you
because
guys.
People are going to go to our Substack, the80sist.substack.com, and they're going to vote there. And they're going to let us know what they think about the Kenny Loggins joke.
Oh, yeah. It's so solid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. We'll hear about it. You can also find us on Facebook by searching for the 80s Est podcast. We're there as well.
Oh, yeah, we are. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and a bunch of other places by searching for simply the 80s-Est podcast. And while you're on Spotify, hey, why don't you take a look at our region playlists? They're pretty awesome, and they're a quick, easy way to take your breath away by listening to both songs in any matchup back to back. So
there you go. By the way, it's also a good idea to take a moment to like the podcast, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Makes it easier to get this sent right directly to you.
Yeah. Subscription numbers are rising slowly, which is good. You know, you tell one, and then you tell another, and then they tell another, and they tell another.
They tell 2 friends, and they tell
and
2
they
friends.
tell 2 friends.
And so on.
And so on and so on. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, we would love if you would bring more folks to the party. And it's going to be much more fun because next time on the 80sist, we're going to finally take on the Lost Boys episode, Joe. And that's going to be fun.
Ooh.
It's number 7, I Still Believe, against number 10, Cry Little Sister.
2 controversial choices.
Possibly. We'll see. We'll see what the audience has to say about them.
We will.
But that's all for today's show. And so until that Lost Boys matchup tomorrow, on behalf of Joe Walk, this has been Keith Marsteller saying, hey, Joe, do you remember Heather Locklear?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, in terms of the 80s, she was... She spent the 80s as an actor on T.J. Hooker, right?
Exactly. And it's also relevant 80s-wise that she married a couple of different 80s musicians, Tommy Lee of Motley Crue, and later Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Hey, do you remember when she was still hot enough to ignore how crazy she was?
Oh, I don't think that's a respectful thing to say regarding mental health and being so flippant about it.
Well, you're 100% right on that. So I'm going to go ahead and retract that statement, but you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
Well, it was at that time that her great 80s hair landed her this really lame shampoo commercial.
You aren't going to sing it or use the exact words from the commercial like you always do.
Nah, I'm tired. Let's just end this shit and play the commercial.
When I first tried Fabergé Organics shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey, it was so good I told 2 friends about it. And they told 2 friends. And so on, and so on, and so on. And believe me, there's still nothing like the original Fabergé Organics. It gives me super shine, super body.
And super fresh-smelling hair.
Try it, and you'll tell your friends about it. And they'll tell their friends, and so on, and so on. Be sure and get the original Fabergé Organics shampoo and conditioner with pure wheat germ oil and honey.